Hey everybody, welcome to the Happy House in New York City. Thank you to everybody who has got themselves a ticket, a suggested donation or a free ticket for today's session. We're here in the fabulous Yoga Union, home of the wonderful Alison West, who's going to take you through Pose Happy Home Yoga today. About the Happy House, we are obviously doing a range of activities every week, and they typically are between 30 and 45 minutes long. 20% of every single donation made is used to support the work of City Harvest in New York City. You tune in this Friday to our Happy Hour at the Happy House. We'll tell you a lot more about City Harvest. The rest of the donations are used to support the artists, the teachers, the instructors, and the work that Maison 10 does in the community. So without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to Alison, but before I do that, I'm going to quickly tell you what every week you're going to need to do Alison's sessions. You need a strap, so something like a belt, something you can put a bit of tension into. You can buy proper yoga straps and all these yoga things, but you can also find things around the house that do the job just as well. 2, let's call them yoga blocks, but they're kind of big fat bricks. Books will do the same job, so a big thick book or 2. And then I'm going to stand up to show you a very run-of-the-mill kitchen chair. And this is so you can put your feet up, you can put your weight onto, and go through the session with Alison. I'm going to put these 2 lovely props down here. I'm going to walk over that way, and the beautiful, wonderful Alison is going to come in from the right. I'm going to take my chair with me as well. So over to Alison West with no further ado. Thank you very much, Alison.
Hello, welcome to Yoga Union, and again thank you to Tom, Blackie and Ari Myers for the wonderful work they're doing. This is so unbelievably cheerful, and also the fact that City Harvest gets a percentage of everything just makes one want to do this, and I hope that you feel that you can donate something, and you can always donate more than the minimum requirement, don't forget that. So now I'm going to begin. We're going to start on the floor today. And I'm just going to set my mask aside, and you don't need anything to begin with. I normally we chant Om at the start of class, but I'm foregoing that now. But if you take a Yoga Union class, you'll see the normal procedures and so forth. You can join me online anytime at yogaunion.com. So everybody, you'll start down on the floor. We're going to do a little session of movements, a little series of movements, and then if you want to stop for now and join later, you can just have this wonderful little few minutes of yoga, and then we go into more. So at every stage, you can continue or pause as you like. So this is a very easy, lovely way to get the body moving without too much fuss. Very simple, small movement to begin with. You roll towards your sit bones and towards the top of your pelvis. So you're just doing tiny little rolls with your lower back. So go ahead, palms can face up, arms out to the side, and you just roll to the sit bones, roll to the top of the pelvis, roll, and as you roll to the sit bone, inhale, and as you exhale to the top of the pelvis, pressing the navel to the floor, exhale. So do that a few more times. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling, just like that. Now, we're going to increase that work by lifting the pelvis off the floor, and you only want to come up to about the mid-upper back area. So here we go again. Inhale towards the sit bones to prepare, and as you exhale, go a little further and lift the sit bones up and round your lower back a little bit, and then roll back down and inhale towards your sit bones. Exhale, lift the sit bones and roll up so your back starts to come off the floor, and gently roll down. That's phase 1. Now we're changing directions. Hold on to your mat if you have one. If you don't, you can hold on to a strap underneath you and just pull on it. You can also just press your elbows down and get your shoulders on your back like that. You're going to start with your elbows bent and make fists, and your fist points to the ceiling. So the forearms are at a right angle to the floor. Inhale to prepare, and on the exhalation, you want to lift from the top chest. Don't round up, lift like a little plank. So you lift up, and everything comes up together. Back of the head moves away, and you inhale down. So you see, we're not rolling up anymore, we're going up of a piece. Inhale now to prepare, press the elbows down, and from behind the breastbone, lead the lifting of the body up. And like that. Come down, inhale. Exhale, come up. Now this time, stay up. Press the hands down. You can, even if you want, clasp the hands behind you and roll the shoulders under a little bit more. Press the whole arm down. And lift your right knee so that you strengthen the back of the leg a little bit more. You can take the leg straight up if you feel like it. But if your hamstrings are tight, keep the knee bent. Put the foot down. Lift the left knee. Reach up through the leg. Try not to let the hip drop. So you really reach from that hip up to the ceiling. Bring the foot down. If you clasp your hands and let them go, and come down of a piece. Release the shoulders from underneath your back, and just bring the knees in for a moment to counterpose the lower back. Bring the feet down. Bring the left arm overhead, and turn onto your left side. So your head is resting on the arm. Now, you can keep the bottom leg bent or straight. I'm going to show you first the leg bent. Right, so my leg is bent, and the other leg, the right leg, is going to lift up and come down. Now, you can also do the lower leg straight and just have your legs meet like this. This is the action. And let's do this together. We're going to lift the leg up and down 3 times. Off you go. So, leg up and leg down. You can inhale the leg up, exhale the leg down, or you can do the reverse. You can exhale to prepare, and inhale to prepare, and exhale the leg up. Compare what you like best. Use the breath right now that favors the best movement for you. Now, bend the knee and let it point to the ceiling. This means that your leg has now externally rotated. You can compare range of movement when the knee is pointing to the ceiling and when the knee is pointing forward. So here we go. Knee up, touch your knee. Knee up, touch your knee. Knee up, and when you come down, go towards your ankle. Knee up, go towards your ankle. And now straighten the leg, flex the foot, and go all the way up. And you may see that you have more range of motion now that you have externally rotated your leg. This is why ballet exists. If you didn't have external rotation of the leg, you wouldn't have ballet. Okay, now second side. So you decide how you want to get to the second side. There are lots of ways, lots of magic. I'm just going to come up, swivel on my hips, and come down to the other side. And that means I can continue to face you. You can just roll on to your other side because you don't need necessarily to face anyone. Unless you want to see your screen, then you have to do what I did. Now, I have my hand in front of me for balance. If you want a real challenge, you can just not have your hand there and do this without your hand on the floor. So you add balancing. Up and down. Up and down. And remember, your knee is pointing forward and down. And now, bend the knee so that the foot comes to the knee. And you just go up from here. And you'll see you have more range of motion because the leg is externally rotated as you go up and down. Go up and down. And now, the next time you come down, go a little further out. So you're opening up the angle of your knee as you go in and out. And then you stretch the leg, and from there you go all the way up and down with your leg externally rotated. You point the knee to the ceiling as much as you can. Like that. You're warming up, strengthening, releasing. Okay, now roll over onto your abdomen. So coming onto your abdomen, this is small to begin with. Just stretch your legs out. Bring your head down and reach the arms forward and lengthen out your body. Now, when you come onto your abdomen, if you relax your lower abdomen and you relax your legs, you'll find that your lower back starts to arch. So as you stretch your legs, connect the sit bones towards the heels, and just above the pubic bone, imagine you're trying to squeeze a little marble deep into your body, or just pull that part of your lower abdomen off the floor. And that's going to help you support your lower back. So, draw the hands back, and pull on the floor. The hands are wide. As you lift your head, pull on the floor in your direction. So the elbows are wide. You don't want them too close, because then this will happen to your shoulders. You can also leave your elbows out in front of you, and you're doing this to not shrug your shoulders and not being too deep a back bend. So I'm pulling on the floor, which is lengthening me forward. Above my pubic bone, I'm resisting. Sit bones connected to the heels, legs very strong. Now you want to see, can you keep that height as you bring your arms back and stretch back? You reach back, lift your legs, lift up. Now you can bring your hands forward in a little hold me up position. Elbows bent, arms forward. And then you can see, can I go forward? Can I come back? Yes. Can I go forward? Can I come back? Can I go higher? Can I come back? Can I go higher? And hands down and small cobra. So you press into the floor. Do not let the shoulders lift. Keep the shoulder blades down the back. So you only go as far as you can doing that. And now you do a little nodding of the head. Look down. Look up. Keep the shoulders down. Look down. Look up. Look down. Look up. And then lift up. Keep your knees apart. You can widen them even a bit more. Toes together. And then you sit back, whatever your range of motion is. If you can't sit all the way back on your heels, don't. Just stay up a little bit. Reach your arms out and just stretch yourself out. Right? So depending on your range of motion, you might come all the way down or not. And that could be your little short yoga practice for the moment. We're going to take that work further now into some more demanding work, releasing the upper inner groins and preparing the body for some bird posing. Right? So bird pose, Bakasana, bird of paradise. They're demanding, and we'll just go towards them. We may not get all the way there. So from here, you're going to rock back onto your heels with your toes tucked under, and you're going to go a little bit further, and you try and bring your heels down to the floor as you separate your knees. Right, so this is to start getting used to the position you're going to be in, and then we'll do some other things in between. Don't worry if your heels don't come to the floor, and you can always put a folded blanket underneath them if that becomes necessary. Right now you've got your hands out in front of you, so they will balance you as you stretch back inside your legs. Let the knees go for now. Let the head go. Walk the hands forward. Let the pelvis reach back. So this is a soft pose, Bakasana, garland pose. Ultimately the arms are in a garland behind the back. And you're just letting yourself release. Let the head go. Breathe into the kidneys. Now, on your next exhalation, squeeze those knees in as you bend your elbows. Squeeze the knees in against your shoulders so you can start to feel the energy that's required of the inner leg for bird poses like Bakasana. Okay. And bring your knees to the floor in front of you. Kneel down. And if that's not comfortable for you, you can do this work but be on a block, right? So you can put a block under your sit bones and stay a little higher, okay? The foot will come forward, and so you'll be bringing your hand down, and if you're higher up, that also means you can go further down with your elbows. I'm going to show you on the other side so you get the idea. Right? And then you come down, and this will help stretch your groins even more, so you can increase the difficulty in the work that we're actually doing by sitting up on a block. So you can try that, but if you're on the floor or on your sit bone, you do the work like this. It's all good. You come forward, hand out to the side, and you go down, and then you pull your knee against your shoulder. So this is a half bird pose. I'm squeezing this knee against my arm as hard as I can, and this arm is moving out to the side. I'm building up a head of steam on the inner leg. Each exhalation is a press. Each inhalation, I expand the back of my ribs. I exhale, I press. This is a great way to learn the pose. If you have wrist issues and you know you're not going to get up into full bird pose, there are plenty of things that you can do that are bird pose-like. So now the right leg will come forward, or your left. I just started on the left so you could see. Now my arm is coming to the inside of my leg, my hand here, and if you're on a block, then, especially on the high edge of a block, this is what it's going to look like. You'll come even further down. And here you press your knee and your arm against each other. Support above the pubic bone. You don't want to let the abdomen move out. You want it to move in, as though you're scooping up from your pelvis into the backs of your lungs. Squeeze, press, squeeze, press. So there's a dynamic win-win situation in the body where the knee and the shoulder both get to win. Nobody loses here. And release, and come up, and put your foot down. And for a moment, enjoy not doing much of anything. Pause. Take the block away if you're sitting on it, and come up onto your knees. Everybody's going to come up onto the knees. And now, out of this, a little more dynamic work in down dog. So you bring your hands forward. Remember, to come into plank, just push out through your heel, press back. Make sure you're neither overarching nor gripping the front of your ribs. Simply lengthen through the head and the heel, above the pubic bone support, and think of your shoulder blades wrapping around your chest down into your hands. Now, inhale to down dog. So everybody is in down dog now, reaching back. Remember, if you need to, you bend your knees, right? You're not rounding your back right now, although in just a second you will be. So learn to distinguish between the two. Stretching back. Now, you might need to watch for the first time. You're going to do this 3 times on each side, so perhaps pause. What you want to do is tuck your chin, lift your heels as high as they'll go, round your back, and kiss your knee. And then back to your down dog. And then kiss your knee. And back to your down. You want to do that 3 times, and then to the other side, you kiss your knee, and back you go. So, let's do that together. Find your plank, inhale to your down dog, and get ready to exhale forward. Lift the heels, exhale round the back, and inhale back, switch legs, come forward, and kiss the left knee. Now don't worry if you can't get all the way in. And again, you come forward, rounding your back. You might just want to touch your nose if you want to practice social distancing from your own knee. Touch your nose to your knee or not. And one more time, right and left. And once you've done that, reach back and come forward and bring your knees down. So I'm hoping that was fine. So you see we're increasing that range of motion for a bird pose. We're increasing abdominal strength, hip flexor strength, all of those good things. Now we're going to do a very heating exercise that is called wood chopper. And you'll see it resembles very much some of the work that is done in fitness centers with kettlebells, except that your hands and body will be the only weight you're using. So you stand up. You want to be in a stance that's something like this, because you're going to be taking your arms overhead and coming down. But I'm going to turn it from the side, show it from the side, to be sure that you see the possible differences. 2 ways. So you can flex your spine, which means round your back, and do it like this, leading with your head and arms, and then bending the legs and coming through. And you really fall. Don't hit your head on the floor. Right? You really fall. Or, if you need to protect your spine because there are issues, and not even you need to, there are 2 different ways to do it. You keep the spine long, and you lead with the hips, and the arms come down afterwards like this. Crease, and then let the arms go. Crease, and then let the arms go. So you see, I'm not flexing my back. So let's do it both ways, but if you know that you need to do it with the spine straight, only do it that second way. And if you want to learn more about how to work with spinal issues, then you should definitely study at Yoga Union, and all our classes are online. So here we go. We're going to do it 4 times flexing, 4 times straight. Inhale the arms up, and exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and inhale, and change. Lead with the hips in the back. Exhale, let the arms go, come up. Exhale, let the arm go, come up. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. There you go. So, now the body is warm and prepared, we're going to look at Bakasana itself. This is where it's helpful to have something that is about this height. So if you have 2 yoga blocks, great. If you have a little stool, that'll work just as well. If you have some big books that aren't going to slide around, that will work very well too. Remember that you can always fold your mat up and do that, or put it between your 2 blocks and do that. Something like that so that there's no movement. So that's always an immediate possibility. I'm going to show you a safe way of putting your feet on the block. The easiest is to put your hands on the floor first and then put your feet on the block, right? Because otherwise, if you stand all the way up on the block and then have to come all the way down, that could be a long journey for you, right? So you just put your hands down and get your feet on the blocks. Then you widen your knees. This is to allow you to bring your arms back against your legs, and then you squeeze. So this gives you the shape of Bakasana, right? This is a bird pose, so that you get to experience it. And it's not here with the bottom up in the air, right? This is going to let you feel this variation. So if you want to feel it a little bit more, you walk your hands out of it, but you don't come out of your legs. When you walk your hands out of it, your pelvis has to come with you. And then you can start weight bearing and saying, whoa, can I take my toes off those blocks or not? Right? But you don't have to do that. Right? So start with that. Put your feet on the blocks. Bend your knees. Come back. Elbows way inside your legs. Right? Squeeze on your arms. Now, your groins may be tight. You may not be able to get so far in, right? So you have to allow for who you are, and you do what you can. If this is all you're going to do, this is great, right? This is already an accomplishment. Then if you want to go further, the hands come out, and you pull your heels forward, and you just stay here. You don't even have to take your feet off the block. Look at that. Bakasana. All right? Then you go back, pop, pop. And you take a block away, and you start going down. Now, I happen to have a bolster. If you have pillows or something soft, you can put something in front of you. It can be folded blankets as well. I want to show you this because the thing that we're most afraid of about a bird pose is falling forward, at least when you start this way. You can also start in a tripod headstand, in which case your head's already down. But if you start forward like this, and when you're working on one little block like that, you can go ahead and put both feet on. It's the same preparation, but you're closer to the floor, so you have to really widen the legs, bring your elbows way back, then you squeeze, and this is where you start to lift and come up. And you start to pull your feet up in underneath you, and you lift up, but look what happens. Whoops, nothing, because you can land on something soft, you see that? So if you've not done the pose before, you could try with something soft in front of you, exactly like this, and just quietly let the top of the head come down. And I say top because it's the top that has to come down. Don't put your face on the bolster. Neck, top of the head. So we're going to do that again. Feet on the block. Sit bones down. Knees wide. Elbows in. As far back as they'll go. Squeeze the knees as much as you can squeeze. Now, you want to come forward from the heels and the sit bones. Notice how my heels are lifting forward and my knees, but my chest is staying inside. I come forward, and maybe this is all I do, but maybe I'll start to straighten my arms. Maybe I'll lift up some more. Maybe I'll look forward, right? And there you are. So give that another try. Squeeze those knees. Reach forward, and if you want to play around with tucking the chin and putting the forehead, the top of the head, on a bolster or a couple of pillows or some folded blankets or towels, you can go ahead and try that. That way you'll discover where your balance is. And remember, balance is not staying in a safe place. Balance is reaching all the way to the edge of the unknown, and then just where you might fall, you stay. That's balancing. It's a real art, and you have to reach into it. All right. So now we've been working with a certain range of motion and a certain kind of pose. Bird posing, that's Bakasana. And we're going to look at another bird pose. It will require a chair, I'm just bringing the chair in now. We're going to do something else first. Lizard pose to continue to open the groins. So, left knee back, right foot forward. Bring the arm out in front of you. And what you're trying to do is come down to the inside of the right leg, on the right side. You're not rolling down to the left side. My grandmother can do that, and she's dead. Right? So you want to bring the right side down. So you bring the right arm forward, press your right foot down, release the pressing, and maybe you go down a little bit more. Press the right foot down, release the pressing, and now see, can you stretch the back leg up and off the floor? Bring the knee down, bring your right arm in underneath you, up onto your back, come forward, and can you bring the hand and leg in towards each other? Now, if you can balance, you can lift that back leg off the floor, but don't if it's too much. Hands down, and bring that leg back, and bring the other foot forward, hand to the inside, and same thing. Start stretching your left arm forward, squeeze the leg on your arm, keep squeezing, 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 press your foot down, and go forward. Press the foot down, you can squeeze onto your chest, but more than anything, press down. And maybe the left side of the chest will come down a little bit further. Stretch that back leg to see where you are. Then back off a little bit. It's a little easier to put the hand on your back if you back off. And then you come forward, and you're really working here to get the shoulder in. And then you test, do you have the capacity to stretch that knee off the floor, lengthen out, bring the knee down, and gently release. And for a moment, to release the brain from the difficulties, just come forward. Good. Now, this is where you might want a strap as well as something to put on the chair. So I'm taking these two blocks, and I'm just going to have the strap at hand so I can show you. And the blocks are on the chair, and this is to make accessing the pose of bird of paradise a little more accessible, a little easier. So I always put some sticky stuff on a chair so the blocks don't move, right? And so when on top of each other, they don't move. Now, the strap is here. If you have difficulty bringing your hand around your back and holding the hand when you're doing something like this, right? So if when you bring your arm under, the hands don't come together, then you can pull on the belt and you have the strap between your hands, okay? So I'm not going to use the strap, but I just want to let you know you can and you should. So here we go. I'm going to bring the chair in a little closer. And we'll start with the right leg. So you put the right foot on the block. So you can already see, oh, if I come down inside my leg, weren't we just doing something like this on the floor? Weren't we doing this for Bakasana? So you can see how the same kind of movement is coming through all the work we're doing. So here you go. Now, the first phase is that you bring your arm in front of your leg instead of underneath it, like this. And you see, you can just bend forward and hang out like this. If you want to challenge yourself towards bird of paradise, you can just take your foot off the block. Take the foot off the block, and it makes you very high. You can also roll your chest open, put your foot down. Roll your chest open, put your foot down. So go ahead and try that. I'll do it with you. Foot on the block. You also don't have to have so much support. You can also just have one block. And if you don't have anything, just put your foot on the chair. Put your foot on your bed. Put your foot on a windowsill if it's not too high. Windowsill is great because it lifts you up very high. So you have all these options. Come forward and bring your right arm in front of your shin, hand on your back. And even here, you see, even down lower, I can lift my foot and come down and so forth. So you try that. I like 2 blocks because, you know, in my long working days, it makes the trip a little shorter. Now, once you've tried that, you're going to change sides. We're coming back to the first side, but just change sides now. And put your left foot up on the block. And now you'll see it from the open side instead of from the closed side that you just saw. So here we go. The arm comes in front, comes onto the back, the hands hold, and here I am. I'm down, and I lift my heel, and maybe I pull my foot back a little bit. I lift, I come down, I lift, I come down. Maybe I lift all the way, and I come down. And you just try it like that. Up and down, getting used to the pose. And you bring your foot down. You go back to the first side. And now the arm is going to come under the leg. And you're going to have the choice to leave your leg bent or to straighten it. So I'll show first leaving the leg bent, just the way we did. Because I have some balancing issues due to an accident I sustained some years ago, it's a little hard for me to be sure I'm going to strike the balance in a way that is convincing and makes you feel like it's a great pose. So I might hold on, put my back at the wall, we'll see. So you come down, you bring your arm inside the leg now and up onto your back. So this is going to start moving you into the forward pose. As you come up, this is where you think of straightening your leg up. And you lift your chest and straighten your leg up. So I'm going to face you because from the side, when I'm not up yet enough, and you want to release on the leg a little bit and come a little higher. I'm just going to show that to you. Right, so I'm going to start without the chair in front of me. So I come down, and this is where we start. When we're starting like that, we come all the way to the floor, and then we come up from the floor and lift all the way up from the floor, and then take the foot away and lift the chest. Okay, and then come down elegantly. But you can try that from having the foot high in the chair. It's much less far to go. So off you go, foot on the chair, arm in underneath you, arm back, and remember you can put a belt between your hands, and then you just work to lift the foot, and you do not have to straighten your leg. You can just do this much, and that's plenty. All right, so for those of you who are straightening the leg, go ahead, straighten your leg, reach all the way like a bird of paradise, open up the body, and then bring your foot elegantly back down and switch. Right? Exit the pose with the same control as you enter it, because it's part of the work. Foot up, arm under, on your back, and off you go. Heel, toes, foot, and you straighten your leg. And that is up to you how much you're going to do. Right, so you're going to work to straighten your leg out. I will actually face you since I have the chair to do that. And you'll see from the front what you're doing, right? My heel has to come a little bit further forward or I can't get the arm in there, right? And then from the front, here you are, lifting up, and maybe I can find something to hold on to here. As I lift up, now that's not steady enough, but I'm just going to show you what it will look like if you can balance. And I cannot. I wish I could. I used to, all these extraordinary things, but an accident has deprived me of that. Now, here we go. Take your props away. You're going to sit on the chair, and we've done this together before. You come forward, and you come down, and you release your back, and you release your brain. Let everything relax. Roll up through your spine, pause, take a gentle twist to the left, short and sweet, twist to the right, short and sweet, twist to the left, twist to the right, and then come forward, and you're just going to turn around, and again today, take your Shavasana with your legs on your chair, so that you can really relax your central nervous system as though you're doing a shoulder stand. Now just note, this chair slides down at the back, so I turn it around because that lets my heels be a little higher than the backs of my knees. If your chair has a back, then you have to leave it the other way. So what you do is you come down, get close to your chair, and you want the backs of your knees right against the chair. That's what's comfortable. You can also put a blanket on the chair. You can also put a blanket underneath your head. I'm just going to show you with a little bit of rolled yoga mat. You know, you have a little bit of height under your head. That can help you release your neck. Also, if your back is rounding and this is happening, it'll lift your head up and you'll be more comfortable. And then you simply stretch your leg, make sure that your calf is balanced on the back of the chair, arms are out to the side, shoulders on the back. Just let the whole front body fall to the back body and soften. Close the eyes and relax. And you can relax as long as you like. You can relax far beyond the end of this session. You have a pleasant 3 to 5 minutes, and you can just enjoy that time. If you're feeling a little restless, you can sit up and do some seated meditation, quiet breathing with the eyes closed. And I'm going to leave you there with your Shavasana or your meditation, and we'll meet again in the ether next week. Namaste.